A lot of people wonder whether the service charge in a restaurant is mandatory and or legally enforceable. So that's what I thought I'd talk about in this video. Even though you might have noticed we're on Easy Chinese Cooking, we're not on Black Belt Barrister, which is also linked in the description below. If you haven't seen that before, you can go and check that out as well. So you sit down at a restaurant and you have a nice meal, and then you get the bill at the end and it says 25% service charge. Is this legally enforceable, or is this something that you should not have to be paying? Well, this all depends on contract and the contract formation. And it would be a term of the contract, and so it depends whether or not it's fair and whether it was prominent to you in the first place. So if you enter the restaurant and there is a sign somewhere that says there is a 20% service charge, for example, or you sit down and you have the menu and the menu tells you that there is a 20% service charge and it's all nice and clear. If before ordering the food you say to the server, is it okay if I don't pay this service charge? And they say, yes, absolutely, it's perfectly optional. You can have a choice as to whether you pay that or not. Then hopefully that should be obvious that that is not then part of the contract and you shouldn't be held to it. However, if you don't have that conversation and you just order the food and that was reasonably prominent on the menu that there is a 20% service charge, you order the food, you've impliedly by conduct accepted that there is a 20% service charge on that bill. So it would be reasonably enforceable against you as part of the contract. However, let's change that and let's say it was a 65% service charge, which is highly unlikely, but let's say that that was the case. Then that would be an unreasonable or unfair term. And since you are, in most cases at the very least, a consumer in such a transaction, you would be protected by consumer law. And so if such a term were so unfair, then it would be deemed to be unenforceable against you in any event. But in the vast majority of cases, restaurants are going to be reasonable with you. They are usually going to give you a choice as to whether you pay the service charge. But some of the more expensive places are going to just enforce this as a service charge on the menu, whether you like it or not. And in most cases, unless you've made a big deal about it and it was reasonably prominent in the first place, this is going to be enforceable against you. So be on the lookout for these on the menu, on signs around the restaurant, and if you don't agree with it, don't order the food, or just have the conversation beforehand and you can clear up at the outset whether or not this is going to be part of the contract, because it is much more uncomfortable and much more difficult to do that afterwards. So lessons be learned. So please do subscribe to this channel, Easy Chinese Cooking, because we'd like to get the watch hours up. And if you're new to me as a barrister, then you can also check out Black Belt Barrister, which is linked in the description below. In the meantime, have a great weekend and enjoy your food.